superconscious and subconscious state of mind, and during that we get some thought process, which when we come to normal state of mind, awakened state, and we speak it out without realizing or no really materialistic proof of the things. That's how some of the theories of Vivekananda, which energy and matter of the thing came, or maybe even to some extent Kekule also commented on the same way for Benjamin structure or the Kadam. Is it, and you also mentioned of vibrations. As the technology has evolved over the period of time, we have been having the equipment and devices to detect the vibrations of different kinds. In India, there is a thought, some people believe, in premonitions and getting the message from one person to the other person at a very far-flung place. And these are really nobody knows how it happens, but in the dreams, otherwise the message do go. Some people do have I think, verification of that. But is it that the phenomena as such, we have not been able to detect those vibrations or those waves which are emitted out during these states, like the people dream something here and somewhere else it is found to be true, and there have been some cases where the things which have been dreamt by individual have been found to be happening true. So is it that there is a science really in this, and this needs to be studied? We have no equipment to detect those vibrations or those waves which are emitted out or which are received or transmitted by the object and subject. That's the thing.
Yeah, I think this is very
philosophy or the thought process.
Yeah, this is a very exciting question, and thank you for this. This is a very good question. I think we don't have the technology to directly measure some of these very high states of consciousness. But what the neuroscientists are trying to do is measure the effect it has, which is more macro. So there are certain discoveries they've already made where the effect of something like this can be measured, while the actual phenomenon itself is just a theoretical, extrapolation. But then one could also say nobody has seen an electron. All we've seen is a mark on a film. We've seen a mark on a film, and we infer an electron. We infer that there's an electron we haven't seen, but there's a mark on a film, and it keeps changing according to the laws of what an electron is supposed to be like. So there are things, even in the material sense, which are so small that we infer their existence from something else we can observe. So our evidence, even in the case of something of this sort, like very, very subtle things, more subtle than normal matter, we may never be able to actually see that directly. But if we can build a prediction, if we can build a model based on that assumption, and that model produces a certain outcome, and we can measure that outcome, we'll have to be scientific enough and accept it. So I think this is an exciting area of research, and I track this quite a lot. And I feel that in this area of validation of our tradition, actually the West is doing more. They are doing a lot of research in this area. I know one place near Bangalore where they are, I think it's called Vyasa or something, they are trying to do this also. Real neuroscientific effects of advanced states of consciousness. But it will be my job to keep reminding the West that when you get this breakthrough, it's a joint discovery, and you have to co-publish it with the yogi who produced this effect, and you have the instrument to measure it. And it is not that he's some footnote in the end saying some guy did it, some subject. They're calling them subjects, like some animals, some rats in a laboratory. Rats in a laboratory. So I'm just trying to make sure that the record is straight on that, because then our tradition stays alive. It is not put in a museum. It has some value, and we can discover more things.